very base level.
Oh,
Do
God.
a reasonable amount of research and due diligence, but
Yeah.
don't use planning as a scapegoat for procrastinating starting.
Yeah. And give yourself enough time to actually have the possibility of being successful. What is up, everyone? And welcome back to On Air. We are so excited that you're here with us today to dive into another super exciting business idea podcast. I just all of a sudden got scared that I just don't even know what I'm saying. I just started talking.
I was wondering where you were
saying?
going with that, but
I
I
don't
was
know. I have no idea where I'm going.
I was ready to support you in whatever you said.
That is so sweet. Welcome.
Welcome back.
Here we are. And today we're talking about how to know if your business idea has legs.
Shit.
Is that a thing people say? Has legs?
I think it is something people say. I don't know.
Okay.
When you said that, it just reminded me of a spider, though. So
Okay. How to know if the business idea in your head is a good idea or not.
yeah, which I feel like is I feel like a lot of people will have these business ideas, but then they have no idea to see if they should actually pursue it or not.
Yeah.
They're kind of like just
Well, I
going
definitely
off.
have that.
Yeah, me too.
We're just like, I want to do something. I want to start a business. I want to do something for myself. And then you're just like, I could do this.
My problem is that a lot of the times I was impulsive and I just did it without thinking. And then it was like a month later and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, fair enough.
I
I feel like I was a little bit more the opposite where I'm like just thinking about it and not doing it. Well, it depends.
Yeah, it obviously depends. But I definitely started like a few things and they didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And I also like didn't even really try. I just like,
Well, I think part of it is like it's almost like dopamine to just think about the business, even if you're not like doing it. And then when it gets like to the hard part of doing it, that's when it's easier to be like, nah, do I want to do this? Maybe not.
yeah, or like you didn't actually think it through. You just kind of heard the word drop shipping and you're like, I want to make money doing that. And then you just start it and you're like, what am I doing? This is so dumb.
Well, it wasn't
that happened to a
necessarily
friend
dumb.
of mine.
Not necessarily dumb.
Not necessarily dumb, but like,
I do think one thing is that when you see stuff online, people definitely oversimplify how easy it is. Passive income, make money while you sleep, all this
Yeah.
stuff. And while technically you can make a sale while you sleep for some of these things, like usually it's quite a bit of work to like, maybe not every single day, but like to get it going. That's like months of work usually.
yeah, and it's not a guaranteed thing. Like
No.
you can't just say like, oh, I'm doing this because someone else is doing it and they had, success with it and it's just going to work for you. Like there still is a level of strategy
Yeah.
and effort together that need to make it successful or not.
Yeah. And sometimes I just think like if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it. Which is sometimes good too, because you're like, well, if it was that easy, everyone would be doing it, and then there'd be no market for this. So sometimes when things get hard, I'm like, well, if it was easy, everyone would do it. So you're like, of course it's not easy. But there is a thing on like, I feel like especially on like social media where it just makes it like easy peasy, start a business.
Side hustle, start a
Not a
business.
deal.
You need to have passive income.
Yeah.
You'll be on billion. Those like investing courses.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen those? I feel like they're everywhere.
I definitely thought about doing some day trading for a second too. Years ago.
Didn't.
It just seems so easy.
I feel like during COVID
You just
or like
Yeah.
2020 COVID.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone was into that.
Yeah. Into all these like random things.
Random ways to make money.
Yeah. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
Super fun.
Yeah. So what do you think are some things that, like, what are some actual ways you could take an idea and kind of like flesh out if it's a good one?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of angles that you need to look at a business idea from. Like you can't just look at it from like a financial perspective, although that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like this sounds maybe a little bit cliche, I don't know, but like the first thing you need to ask yourself is, why am I doing this business? Like, is it like just a trend that you saw on TikTok and you're like, oh, I can't think of a trend right now, a money making trend. But anyways, like, is it just something that you saw that's like a trendy thing and you just want to like get on the bandwagon?
Yeah.
Or like, why are you starting this business?
And if the reason is to make money, then that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a good reason.
That is a good reason, but like there's a bajillion ways of making money, so that's not a good enough reason to start that exact idea.
Yeah.
You know, like all of the ideas, like probably the goal is to make money.
Yeah.
So you should make money, but that doesn't probably super count.
Yeah. I think the first thing, like, maybe not the first thing, but one of the things is definitely considering, like, what is the problem I'm solving?
Is there a
Who's
problem
going to
you're
buy
solving?
this? Yeah.
Like, is
who's
it
buying
even,
it?
or is it just like a t-shirt, which nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But like, are you solving a problem? Is there a problem to solve? Is there a gap in the market? Or is it just something like, I don't know, you know?
Like fun to do.
Yeah. Is it like is it a hobby of yours? Like, are you doing it because this is something that you've wanted and you haven't been able to find anywhere?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Or is it just like you see that cowboy boots are trending and you're making cowboy boots, even though probably next year they won't be trending anymore?
Exactly.
Which is still fine, but
Yeah.
then like maybe it's not a long-term thing. Maybe that's like a 1 year, I don't know.
Yeah. And it's not to say you can't make money in like those short-term things. You definitely can if you
Yeah.
get it, like, and especially if you get in early. But
But
there
you need
is
to be aware that there's probably like a lifetime
yeah.
of that.
And I think if
business.
you have a problem or there is a problem you see that you're solving, even if like someone else is solving it too, like you don't have to be the next like Google and be like, there's a whole new crazy thing. But just like, oh, I've seen that like this is the problem my product would solve or my service would solve. People have this problem and I could deliver the solution. Because you need some sort of value to sell for people to want to give you money.
Yeah, you either need to be solving a problem or you need to be providing a product that people just like really like for some reason.
Yeah. But that's, I feel like, very hard to do.
It's hard to do because there's so much competition because you're not solving a problem.
Yeah.
It takes maybe like a little bit less maybe not differentiation, but like it just seems like there's a lot of competition for those types of things.
Yeah, and usually things like that is like it seems to work well if someone already has like a really big following or a brand and they want like their thing. But even still, you do see some of these like influencer people with like super big brands and or like followings, and then they like kind of just do a product to do one, and like it doesn't work that well because it's like, well, it's not like it probably sold initially really good because but it still has to be some level of good for people to continue to want it and buy it. And yeah,
I think you kind of like, if you're starting a clothing line, you're not necessarily solving a problem unless there's some innovative thing about clothing that I'm not aware of, which is very possible, and that's pretty cool if you solve a problem there. But if you're just starting a clothing line, then you have to know that like branding and marketing and all of that are going to be so important, because why would someone choose your clothing over the next person? Like there has to be a reason.
Yeah, and you can differentiate with marketing.
Absolutely. And like that's where marketing is so crucial, because if you have like, if there's two companies selling the exact same pair of leggings and one company has amazing branding, they're probably going to get the sale even though it's the exact same leggings as the other company.
Yeah. Or you kind of just have to compete on price, which then makes your margin smaller and it potentially harder.
Maybe you can do, maybe you can't do, depending on your costs.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one is let's solve a problem, preferably. That would make it easier.
That would probably make it easier.
Yeah.
We just went off on a tangent.
Uh-oh. And then I feel like another oh no.
Sorry, I feel like
You really just threw us for a loop.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding. It's not your fault.
Yeah, like ask yourself, are you solving a problem? Is it a problem that you have personally dealt with?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, at least for us, we kind of made these like courses and now this community because it was something that we would have wanted when we first started our bookkeeping company.
Yeah. Like, clearly people want to learn bookkeeping.
It was
and learn
something,
stuff.
yeah, it was something that we couldn't find on the internet.
Yeah.
And so we were like, well, let's make it then.
Yeah.
So
some sort of problem to solve. Okay. Test for customer interest. So basically just like talking to other people and being like, mean, you don't have to go crazy on that, but also just like seeing if people in your life are like, oh yeah, that is something
Yeah,
I
like
would buy or struggle with.
if you were walking on the street and you pulled 10 people, I don't know why I was going to say pulled 10 people over as if you were the police. If you talk to 10 people on the street and ask them if they would buy this product or if they would pay for this service, and all 10 of them would say no or probably said no, then like maybe think about it.
And okay, but we have to also caveat that like it might be like a niche thing, so you maybe want
Might
to.
be a niche thing, but then like say if it's a niche, like for us, our niche is bookkeepers at the moment. So then like ask 10 bookkeepers,
Yeah, yeah.
is this something that would interest you?
Yeah. And I think part of doing that is also thinking like, I think when you first start, it's almost like, well, who's your customer? And it's like literally everyone, anyone with $1 in their bank account is my customer. But it's actually really, really hard to like pinpoint who is buying your thing. And there's a lot of times where you could almost like I mean, it depends what you're doing. But like for us, for example, we have a course on bookkeeping. Really, you could market that to a lot of different people if you structured it differently.
Which we might in the future. Are we allowed to say that?
Do you want to say that?
Why wouldn't we?
Okay. I don't know.
Right?
Sure.
Are we changing our plans?
Not at all. I just didn't know if we were saying it on the podcast.
I think we should get people hyped up about it.
Okay, sweet. Anyways, so you can teach bookkeepers how to do better bookkeeping and you can teach other people how to do better bookkeeping too. But you can't speak to those same people the same.
Yeah, like you still have to be aware of who your customer is so that you can actually speak to them.
Yeah, because a huge part of like getting someone to buy your thing is helping them realize they need your thing.
Mm-hmm.
And not in like a tricking them way. But if someone has like a pain point or they're like, man, I really struggle with getting clients in my bookkeeping company. If you then have a pitch that's like, hey, do you really struggle with getting clients in your bookkeeping company?
Mm-hmm.
Then they're like, oh my God, yeah. How'd you know? But if you're saying like a completely different, like it's just hard to connect with. Like some
Yeah.
people will kind of like really try to connect with it, but usually like if you can get them on an actual problem they have, which the goal of if your product is to actually solve a problem and then you find the person with that problem, like match made in heaven.
Yeah, I feel like people are more likely to spend money on something that they feel like was almost designed specifically for them.
Yeah.
So if you can speak to that, and that's where it really helps if you have struggled with the same problem, to be able to speak to the problem in like a super authentic way that makes it feel like a genuine solution, not like a slimy sales pitch.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. If people can identify with you in that problem, that's when I buy a lot of stuff.
Yeah, because you're like, oh my gosh, this was like, I feel like you are actually speaking to me through the screen into my soul. And I feel like we have now connected. And I feel like this was designed specifically for me and I must have it.
Yeah. Must have it. Must buy it.
I feel like that's what all marketing probably is aiming to do, kind of.
Yeah. I think so. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one that I was thinking is almost like a can I do this test? And not in the sense of like, do I have all the skills now in this moment to do this? But more like, what does the day-to-day of this type of business look like? Because every single business has problems. Every single business will have issues. Every single business will have things that come up that suck. And they just have different issues. Like if you're meeting one-on-one with clients, maybe like there's like that issue of in person, there's a weird conflict. If you have everything online, maybe it's like, oh, I can't get my inventory purchased and shipped. Like everything has issues. It's just like, what issues do you feel like you have the energy to deal with?
Yeah. And like the idea might be desirable, but the life that the business will provide you, like, is that still desirable? Because like, you know, maybe starting a clothing line sounds really desirable because you like clothing, you like whatever, but like the day-to-day work of like meeting with suppliers, designing, like costing out materials, like managing employees, like managing factories, like all of those things, like, is that still desirable?
Yeah.
Or are you just kind of seeing like the pretty facade and you're like, I want that.
Yeah. And I think it's really easy to not see it, especially if you haven't experienced it, because it's almost hard to even know what issues come up. Because even like with the courses we did, if we're being completely honest, like, I don't know why, but when I see courses online, I'm like, oh, that's so easy. We could do that. And you can do it. But there's, once you start going, you're like, didn't think of this, didn't think of that, didn't think of how I had to organize. Like, there's just all these other things that come up that you didn't really consider, or you did consider, but you really didn't like consider how they feel in the moment of doing them.
Yeah. And like not even issues, because obviously like issues come up all the time, but just like the different aspects of the business that you didn't even consider
Yeah.
would actually take up that much of your time.
Yeah.
Like maybe customer service.
Yeah.
I feel like no one thinks about that, or at least I never think about that. I'm like, customer service, what?
Yeah.
Everyone should just be happy. Like, what do you mean?
Everyone just loves us. What are you talking about?
There's a complaint? I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a lot of aspects of the business that are probably less glamorous. And when you're first starting a company, sometimes you have to wear a jack of all trades type of hat. And so I feel like you have to be okay with the less glamorous parts of the business. And like, it's hard. Like, I want to say, like, be realistic on how much effort those less glamorous parts are going to take, but it is hard to know the level of effort until you've started.
So just take what you think and double it.
Yeah. Take what you think, double it, add 20.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's good parts and bad parts about running a business, and just like be okay with the bad parts. Or like, yeah, like you have to come to terms that there's not so fun parts and accept that.
I think another thing is if you know someone or can have access to someone who has done that type of business, even just chatting with them and being like, what's a day in the life look like? And make sure you're more like, what was your day is in the life looking like when you first started? Because sometimes people are like, it's like that same thing you see where you see like these millionaires online that are like, this is my 4-hour morning routine. I do this, this, and this. I do all this stuff. And then it makes us think, okay, I also need a 4-hour morning routine. But it's like, that's what they do now that they've made it. Like, what was it like when they very first started? What did those days look like?
Yeah, like were they grinding for 14 hours every single day in their basement?
Yeah. What problems came up when they first started? Like, those are kind of more the things to ask about, consider. And every business is going to have something. So it's like, just it's like picking your poison. Like, you're not going to find a business that has nothing bad.
No, that's literally impossible.
Yeah.
And I guess like on that point too, like asking someone their day-to-day life, like if you are planning out this business and you're saying, I need to make X amount of money per week for this to be feasible. However you come up with that calculation, like really work backwards and say like, how long would it realistically take me in order to achieve these sales numbers? Like whether it's like clients or like sales of products, like try and be realistic, because you can have these goals that's like, yeah, I'm going to make $20,000 in my first week. But like, is that you working 150 hours in 1 week? You know, like sometimes you don't.
How many hours are even in a week?
Well, if you're working,
actually don't
like,
know.
I don't know either, but you know what I mean? Like, you need to make sure that your projections of this business or your goals for this business are realistic and are in line with the lifestyle that you are prepared to live. Because at the start, there will be some sacrificing, or at least the majority of the time. There's some sacrificing of your time and your freedom until it gets up to a certain point. And like, you need to be okay with your lifestyle changing for that period and potentially changing for the eternity of the business. Like, you can't build a business relying on these sales numbers that are relying on like an unachievable amount of hours.
Right. Yeah, I think
like you almost don't think about that sometimes. You're like, oh, well, then we can just grow it to this, and then the next year we'll like double that or grow it. And it's like, think Like, think realistically how much time and effort it actually takes it to grow.
Yeah. And also if you're like, okay, well, I can just grow it because now I'll have money to hire a team. It's like, that is true. But then what does your day to day look like now that you have a team?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you still designing the clothes or are you managing the team? Like,
Mm-hmm.
that part of it too, where it's like, try to put yourself in that place. That being said, that is actually very challenging to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes if you think too hard about it, you just won't start the business, which I'm not saying to do that either.
No.
Sometimes ignorance is a little bit bliss. Like, it's almost good to go in a little bit like, I'm going to be so great. Because otherwise, if we were all being too realistic, we probably wouldn't have started anything.
No, but I feel like if you're like, oh, I'm just going to start this business and I'm just going to work 40 hours a week and I'm going to be able to achieve these sales numbers without like actually understanding how you got to those sales numbers, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, be realistic. How much effort is it going to take to achieve these projected sales numbers?
Yeah. And if
And,
you're
like,
designing a product, like, will you get it right on the first try? Probably not.
No.
Can you last 4 iterations of the product?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is that
And
you're
how
doing.
much effort. And like, another thing is, which like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it is talked about, but like, what do you actually want your life to look like? Like, do you want to be working? Like, do you want to be grinding all the time? And if you do, that's completely fine. Or are you starting a business thinking that it's going to give you this freedom and you can just like come and go and things are just going to be like rocking and rolling, which is also fine, but maybe like take a look at your business idea and like see if that's actually going to give you that lifestyle.
Yeah,
Because,
like, is that feasible?
If you're designing a business that isn't in line with your lifestyle, it's probably not going to turn out super, super successful because you can only do something for so long that feels misaligned.
Yeah. And I think part of that is like, if you're being like, oh, well, if I just work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, I can do these numbers. It's like, that might be true. And
For
maybe
how
you can
long?
do that for a period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what is the period of time?
Yeah. And
Some
if you're,
people can do it for longer. Some sociopaths.
yeah. And if you're working 12 hours a day for 7 days a week to achieve the numbers that you need just to survive, like just to sustain yourself, then you're probably not going to be able to grow the business to a point where you can hire someone.
Yeah.
Because like, if it needs 12 hours a day for 7 days a week just to support your singular wage.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Unless you're like
something going on
building
there.
or creating something that then.
Yeah, unless you're in like a build phase, but even then, so like part of it is like development hours, then part of it would be like revenue generating time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess not. But then I guess it's a short-term thing.
Yeah.
It's not time for money.
I guess, yeah, part of it is like looking at your business and making sure you're not just like making yourself a job.
Yeah, it's like,
I guess
why are
that's
you
what we're trying to
starting a
say.
business? Are you starting a business for freedom? Because like,
Yeah. Because you could just
I
get a
don't know.
job that pays you every 2 weeks. You don't even have to think about, you can kind of, no, I'm not going to say slack off. Not every job's like that. But like, there's less pressure to be like, oh, it's
There's no
all on you for
risk.
everything. Yeah.
Zero risk.
But like, most of us aren't starting a business. Like, I know, like, there's so many times where I'm like, I could get a job and make way more money with less risk, less stress, all of that. But it's like, usually you have some sort of end goal vision that's keeping you going.
Yeah.
So have something like that, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people accidentally create businesses that are just another job, or they feel like trapped.
Yeah. And stopping a business is just as hard as starting one.
Yeah.
It's very challenging. So I think trapping yourself in a business, yeah, there's only a certain, like, you get to a point where you make a certain amount of money where it's like, okay, I can't suffer in these other areas anymore, you know?
Mhm.
So just consider that. The other thing I was going to say is almost like, as you were saying, of like, okay, what's the minimum I need to make? What are my sales numbers? What are my costs? Like, almost just kind of projecting out like a year or two of like this like growth phase. Like, maybe the first 3 months there's no revenue. Maybe you're guessing month 4 there's some revenue. Like, putting that all out into one place so you can kind of just see, okay, if I can get one client every month for the next 5 months, I should be good and I'll make whatever. But then also in that part, trying to be realistic, like taking a minute to be like, okay, really realistically, what would insurance cost for me? Or like, what do these parts actually cost? Like,
You don't need to be like so exact with this. Like, it's not like you're like doing it to the penny. Like, this is to get an idea of like I think it's good at the very start to get an idea, even like, is this feasible at all?
Yeah.
And if it looks feasible, then you can kind of like drill down into like the more minute details, like getting more specific costing and all of
Yeah.
that.
Or like, are there any things you'll have to comply with that cost money? Like that was
Yeah.
one of the things for us. It was like we had to get all of these I don't know, what are they fucking called? Approval certification
bullshit.
things.
CPA
bullshit. It was just like, give me more money. And we were like, wow, I didn't even
like,
consider any of this
didn't
at the start.
even realize that we had to do this and give you a bunch of money for no apparent reason. But here you go.
Here you go. Yeah. So things like that. So yeah, as we say, not as we do, because did we? Well, we did this at the start. We just kind of missed out on some of those things.
But also, probably everyone misses things. Like you're probably going to miss things, and that's okay.
Of course. But it's just kind of like taking that minute to be like, what other things could this business have? And another thing is just like trying to be realistic. Like, for example, when we were talking to someone, they were saying that they were kind of helping someone with this layout for their business idea, and it was for a daycare, and it was essentially like they had this like these growth numbers that were so misaligned with the demand for that. So they were like in a small town, and then they kind of projected out that they would open 10 daycares in this small town. And it was like,
it's like there's only 10 kids in the whole town. Like, what do you, how many kids do you think you're going to service?
Yeah. So wasn't that, yeah, exactly. So, but it's like, okay, also is your expectation, like, is that realistic too? Like, does this town actually need 10 daycares? Maybe not. Could you expand to different towns? Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Who's running each of these? Do you now have to hire someone for each of the different locations? Like those types of things that you don't really think about too.
And I think like planning out that revenue growth and like your cost growth, unfortunately, for like a year or two really helps you think about those types of questions.
Yeah.
Like you want to grow by 20% every year, maybe more. Like, how are you actually going to achieve those? Like, what are the action steps? And like, are those realistic given your market?
Yeah. And if you're like, okay, well, I want to get 10 new clients a month. It's like, okay, can you do that much work?
Yeah. Like,
at what point do you need to hire someone? How much does that person cost?
Yeah. Cause
hopefully they're good.
Obviously the sky is the limit when you don't think about those things. Like, oh, well, I'll just onboard 10 clients every single month. And it's like, okay, so you're working 100 hours in a 24-hour day. So something might not be working here.
Yeah. Just those pieces. And it's not to say you can't do that, but I think just having like an understanding that it will be hard.
And like an understanding of how you can get to these projected numbers that you have so that you're not just kind of being like, yay, I'm going to make $1 million this year. And just assuming everything's just going to like fall into place and you're just going to make a bunch of money and it's just going to work out so perfectly. Like there needs to be some level of like strategy and planning.
Yeah.
Like how are you going to get to these numbers?
But also not too much.
Not too much, but kidding. Don't. Yeah. Everything is a balance. Don't go in so blind and oblivious, but also you can't overplan it because 99% of the time it's not going to go to plan and then it might throw you off.
Yeah.
Like you have to be flexible.
Yeah. A flexible plan.
A flexible, loose plan.
Another one was like a quick win or an MVP, which I think is actually a really cool idea for new businesses, is you're almost testing the waters before putting all the energy in creating the product or the service. Like maybe you're going to make a website with a landing page and you're going to be like, did anyone click on this? Mm-hmm. Maybe you're going to run some ads to your landing page. Be like, did anyone have any interest in buying this thing that I want to make? Mm-hmm. Maybe when people do, click on that page, you can reach out to them and be like, hey, like there's a lot of ways that you can kind of like pre-test something without going all in and being like, okay, I'm building this product or I'm buying this thing.
And you could do like a wait list when people put their email in to get notified and like how many emails do you collect? Like there's a lot of ways that you can test the demand before investing all this time and energy.
Yeah. And I think also if your business is a model where you can have like a lesser than perfect version, what am I trying to say?
I think we talked about MVPs, minimum viable product,
Oh,
on a
yeah.
previous episode. But yeah, like if you have this product in your head that's like the most magnificent, amazing product that solves this problem and has all these bells and whistles, that's amazing. But maybe to start, you only make the product, like the essentials version. You only have the minimum features that will still
Solve the problem.
solve the problem and make sure the product is useful. And you test it with that more like basic version. A, it's more cost effective, and B, it will be brought to market a lot quicker. And then you can kind of use your customers' feedback on what those next iterations are and what all of those like bells, whistles, additional features can be.
Mm-hmm. And I like to think of it as like almost like, when you have like an app and then it's like, hey, we made an upgrade. Hey, we got rid of these bugs. Hey, this a software update. It's almost like you're doing updates all the time. Like they're like added a new feature, added this, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And it's like easier to understand with products, but you can do this too with like a service business where you're just like, okay, at first we're going to offer these like 5 basic services. And then maybe in a year, we're going to like do this other specialty add-on service that people have, like a bunch of people have asked us for. And I think another thing, I don't know if it's jumping around, but sometimes I think we think there's problems in our business that we have to solve for that no one else will notice. So like sometimes it's okay to put out like that 70% version. And then when someone's like, hey, I wish it had this, then you're like, oh, people clearly noticed and do want that. But sometimes you're almost adding these bells and whistles that like seem really cool, but isn't like a differentiator for someone to buy it or use it.
And people don't actually care about it.
Yeah, and they might not, like, if
they're
it's
like,
there, they're like,
oh,
it's cool.
But does it need to be there? They didn't care.
Yeah. And I think I heard someone telling the story of like they had some sort of software and they spent all this money and time to add like this feature that one customer asked for. And they did it and literally like they were like, oh, it's like an add-on, this cool feature that they created. And the one customer was like, oh, that's cool. No, I don't want it. Like no one actually wanted it. Even the customer who like asked for it didn't want it. They just were like, oh, this would be a cool idea.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes it's like just because one person has an idea or asks for it doesn't mean you have to like stop everything and invest a bunch of money into doing it.
No.
Maybe that's one day, but it doesn't have to be day one.
Yeah.
But I do think definitely planning out like a year of like some realistic numbers would definitely help.
Yeah, because like at the end of the day, like we mentioned, you want your business to make money.
Oh, yeah.
And you want it to be able to support your desired lifestyle, even if it's not at the very beginning. If there's like the potential for it to support your lifestyle, it's pretty important. So, and I mean, unless you're doing it as a side hustle and maybe there's not as much pressure for it to be like crazy profitable, but you still want to see like, is your time and energy worth it? And yeah, like try and project a year or two out as best as you can. It doesn't need to be perfect, doesn't need to be exact. You don't need to spend hours or days on it, but just as like a sanity check, like, is this even a viable idea to pursue further?
I would say like you also don't have to have like the craziest idea ever. Like you can do something that's already out there solving a problem and just do it slightly differently or do it your way, and it can also be super successful. So it's not like you have to be some crazy concept. You can like mow lawns. That makes a bunch of money. Like, but it's just knowing what you're getting yourself into.
And like on that point, do a little bit of research. Do you have competitors? If so, where are they? How big are they? Like, are you competing against Microsoft, or are you competing against the other personal trainer in your town? Like, what else is out there for people? Is there anything out there for people? Because that will determine like whether you can sell. And it's okay if there's other people doing it, and it's okay if you have competitors, but then just that might change how you present yourself in the market. It might change how you speak to people.
Yeah, competitors are fine. Usually that means there's demand for it. But just knowing who they are and
Yeah.
does help.
And if no one's doing it, that also doesn't mean there's no demand. Maybe there's a gap in the market, which is actually a great place to be. But that's where it becomes really important to do a little bit of research and ask around and say, like, I don't really see this anywhere. Like, would you be interested in this? Like, for example, like for us with bookkeeping,
Mm-hmm.
like we didn't really see a lot of these like courses or this like community. We didn't see this. So we were like, oh, there's a gap in the market. We didn't say like, oh, there must be no demand for it, and we must be the odd ones out that would have wanted this, and it doesn't exist. It's like you ask around, ask other bookkeepers, like, I don't really see this. Like, would you be interested in this? And a lot of the times they say yes, and that's when you know that like the gap in the market is worth investigating.
Yeah. At least looking into a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so some common traps and pitfalls were some other things I was thinking of.
Okay.
So the first one that I'm very susceptible to is over researching. So feeling like you have to think of every single possible problem that could come up in this business and then solve them before you start.
Yeah.
You don't have to solve it. Just know it exists, I would say. No, you don't even need to know it exists, really.
You don't, I
you
mean,
want to know a little bit, but
yeah, like you probably want to know a little bit. Like, I know problems will arise and like maybe they might arise in these areas, but like to actually find every specific problem that could possibly, like, it's infinite. You can't do that.
No.
Also, what a waste of time, because maybe the problem never happens and you just waste a bunch of time. And if a problem does arise, then you solve it right then and there.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like there was
you don't need to make them up.
No. That you don't need to make up problems. They will present themselves. And I feel like at the start, that's what I was kind of doing. I was like, what if someone asks for this? What if this happens? And even
I do that too.
yeah, working on other thing. It's like, well, what if one day someone wants this thing we should solve and put this feature in right away in case they want that? And it's like, okay, but firstly, will they want that? We don't know. Will that even happen? We don't know. What a waste of time to put in this random thing. And it's almost like you're preemptively just like kind of procrastinating because you're like, I haven't solved all of the problems yet. And you never will. And once you start, it'll be a problem I promise you that you did not think of. I promise you.
Yeah.
The problem that comes up, you'll be like, wow, I never would have thought of that. And you'll be able to solve it because like you're still going to have to learn and solve things every single day. Yeah. You just don't have to make up the problem. It will happen for real.
Yeah, you don't have to think of all of the problems and solve them before you even start, because that's just not realistic at all.
Yeah. So
I definitely have a habit of doing that.
Well, it's hard because you're like, well, I don't want to. Also, you're like, I don't want to
but
start and put myself out there and then be like so ill-informed or like not prepared.
And there's a level of due diligence that you probably need to do to make sure you're not going in again blind.
Yeah.
Like, don't have your blinders on so much that you're like,
or be like,
I don't need to think about a single problem.
Yeah. But
like, I don't need to register my business with the government or pay taxes. That won't be a problem. Like, there's a level of due diligence.
Yeah.
And then there's crossing a line where you're actually just procrastinating starting.
Yeah. Yeah, that's easy to do for sure. Okay, the second one, I feel like, chasing multiple ideas at once.
That one, I feel like I could also be susceptible to. It's hard to be successful at one thing when your energy is split between 5 things.
Yeah. And if you have, like, that's the thing. It's like, how can you be the best at something if you're splitting your energy between 5 things, but your competitor is only focused on one thing?
Yeah, like, you want to grow something while only giving a fifth of your energy to it? Probably not going to happen.
Yeah. So I think sometimes, especially also, I think again with social media, the internet, it's very like cool to be like, I do all these things. Like
I have 7 businesses.
I have 7 businesses. I have passive income. I do this. And it's like, I think absolutely you can get to a point where you're like, oh, I have made a bunch of money in this thing. I'm going to now invest in other things, or like that can come. But like at the start, when it's like you're starting something, you can't be starting 5 things.
Yeah, that is really the differentiator, because it's true that most wealthy people have multiple income sources. I think the average millionaire has like 7 revenue streams or something.
Sweet.
Don't quote me. That could be wrong. But it's definitely more than a few.
Yeah.
So we're not saying that like you can only have your eggs in one basket, but to be like building something, developing something, growing something, it's hard to be doing that growth phase in a bunch of different things unless you have like a huge team or something. But
Yeah, but even still, I feel like it won't grow to what you think.
no,
Like your
because
vision
again,
of what it.
like the growth and development phase require a lot of effort and a lot of energy. And so if you're splitting that with 5 things,
Yeah.
then like you would probably like maybe they're all 5 good ideas, but maybe you give 100% of your time to the one, build it to a certain point, and then give time to the second, build it to a point, and then you know what I mean? Like you'd probably be way more successful
Mm-hmm.
if you just like focused on one thing, had one goal.
Yeah.
And then grew to the next thing rather than trying to do so many things at once.
100%. Because the other people out there who are the best are doing that.
Yeah, those people that you see who are like, they've got a bajillion $1 million companies, they didn't do them all at once.
No. Definitely not.
No.
Yeah. So I think that's a huge one is it just seems so cool. And then also it's like there is a level of dopamine that comes from the starting idea phase. That
Yeah.
phase is fun. That phase is exciting. You're like, I have this idea. It's going to be great. You
Yeah.
see all of like you're not informed in like the best way. You're like have so much optimism and like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be the best thing ever.
Got your rose-colored glasses on.
Yeah. And then once you get into this shit, it's not exactly what you expected. And then people are like, oh, this isn't what I thought. Change my idea or add an idea or go somewhere else. And it's like, unfortunately, that's actually every single thing.
Yeah.
It's just like you're almost getting to like, okay, I did step 1 to 4. And then I realized it wasn't exactly what I expected, so I switched. But then the same thing's gonna happen everywhere. It's like you gotta just push through that and be like, it's not what I expected, of course, because how could it be? Because I don't know what this is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you gotta push through the
Like stick with it.
Stick with it, but also this is where the like moderate amount of planning ahead of time would probably prepare you a little bit better for that like tricky period.
Yeah.
Like if you just had your rose-colored glasses on and you didn't think of like all of the, you know, undesirable parts of the business, then maybe when those undesirable parts like actually happen, it wouldn't feel like, oh, this isn't what I expected. Like you were already prepared for those and you already knew maybe they're short term, maybe they're not, but like I think that's where people oftentimes just like abandon ship because they're like, oh, I didn't realize I was going to have to do customer service for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you probably maybe should have thought about that, you know?
Yeah. It's just a different. Yeah.
Also, things will come up that you just won't think about. Like, I'm definitely not saying you should just know everything before you start. Like, you should just know that you have to spend 3 hours on customer service or something random before you start because that's not realistic. But, like, don't go in blind.
Yeah. It's a fine balance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I do feel like entrepreneur type people are more the like optimistic person because otherwise, like, why would you start anything?
Well, you can be optimistic while not being, like, not have your blinders on so much, you know?
That's true.
Like, there's a balance.
There's a balance. Some of the houses better than others.
Like, you can't be 100% optimism and 0% realism.
Yeah. Try to mix some of it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think we kind of said this, but just like give it, like, if you do this like preemptive work, the realism, the optimism, like, and then you're like, I know I can make money from this. I'm going to be like, I feel like most businesses can make money.
Yeah.
Like most ideas. It's
agree.
not that your idea is bad. There's people who cut lawns and make money. There's people who start an app and make money. There's people like, there's so many different ways to make money. I think if you're like, I'm down to do this type of business, I know it can make money, like stick with it. Because like there is always that shitty starting period where you're in the, like, you don't know your process, you don't know what your offer is, you don't know how you're gonna project, like
things aren't going to plan, and now you're discouraged, and maybe you had a month where this thing happened and now you feel like you can't do it, and like
there's always that shit at the start. no matter what, I feel like. So it's like, if you're already in that, try to just like keep with it and push through, and don't let yourself be distracted by the next new shiny thing, because when you get over there, you're gonna have that same period. It's like you're already on level 5 over here. Why are you starting from level 1 again?
Yeah, it's like you're on level 5 thinking that, you know, this is just what it is, but you don't realize that at level 7 is the jackpot. So like if you would just just keep going 2 more levels,
Yeah.
like don't quit at level 6 when the jackpot is at level 7. Like you just have to keep going a little bit, you know?
Or level 70.
Yeah. But like,
but I know
I feel like a lot of people, they like businesses are kind of like, they're hard at the beginning.
Yeah.
And I feel like if they would have just pushed like one more year or like one more whatever,
Yeah.
maybe they could have gotten there, but like quitting a little bit too early. And I'm not saying like lose a bunch of money and get into a financial problem, because like just keep pushing. But also you can't quit if you had like a tough first year. Like most people have a tough first year.
Yeah, and it's not to say like it's not to say be like, no, I'm doing it this way. This is the way I decided. I'm just going to push through, and like,
Yeah.
it's not that. It's more just like, I'm committed to this business and I'm going to search for solutions within it to like make it work.
Yeah, like, okay,
we're still open to like feedback and ideas.
Yeah, so maybe things didn't go to plan for the first 6 months. Maybe revise the plan. Like maybe like rejig the plan, tweak it, see what worked, see what didn't, so that you can continue.
Yeah. And then I think also the time horizon of businesses is like, even as we talk about it, it's like a year, 2 years, 6 months, but like it can take a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's like, yeah. Maybe it's more like 5 years.
I think they
10
say
years.
most, what is it, like 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years or something.
That makes sense.
I'm saying a lot of stats that could be completely wrong.
She's making up stats.
I'm just
like,
making
this sounds right.
I'm just making things up. Okay, those might not be the number. I think it's 5 years, or maybe it's 3 years.
Well, either way.
You know what? I think that was a very poorly executed stat. But what I'm trying to say is most businesses fail in the first few years. Like there's not a lot of businesses that make it past the 3 to 5 year mark, which are all of the ones that you're seeing that are super successful.
Yeah, and when you look at these businesses that are so successful, sometimes you also have to be like, okay, this business is like in year 30.
Yeah.
So let's not compare ourselves to this business that's been here for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Even some of these like podcasts I listen to, I'm like, oh, this podcast is literally celebrating its no. There's one I listen to that I swear it's like on their like 15th year or something. Something insane. When did podcasts even start? And then you're like, why is my podcast not as good? And it's like, because you've been going for 13 minutes and they've been around for 13 years. Like, it's good to have that as like a goal, but like, you can't really directly compare yourself to what someone's been doing for 13 years.
Actually, I literally said that to you this week, wasn't it? I was like, oh, I was watching this guy's podcast on YouTube. And I'm like, wow, it's edited so nicely. And then there's these like end screens, and then he's got like all the stuff in his bio, and like it's just done so nice. And there's these things that pop on the screen. But then I had to remind myself that this guy has 11 million followers on YouTube, and this is probably his only job. Like this, like the whole business is the podcast. Whereas like for us, we're like doing like courses and
this is more just like us having therapy.
Is like a side little
that we love doing, but
that we like doing. But this isn't the only. Are we going against our? We're going against our advice. Are we doing too many things?
Well, I feel like I just think of this more as like a therapy session.
This is a therapy
session. So I think it's more supportive of the other things instead of against the other things.
And this is,
but maybe not.
I mean, truthfully, this is our way to connect with our customers, or like the people who are interested in our brand, or like for people to get to know us.
Gotcha.
Did I just make that up?
No, I don't think so.
Like this
I think just at first you said it confusing, and I was like,
I know. I think I also said it confusing. Like the podcast, we're not doing the podcast in hopes that the podcast is a revenue generating stream of income.
Right.
Like this is like a means of expanding our current brand.
Yeah.
Right? Am I saying? I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
I think it's just, yeah. Well, firstly, it's fun. But also it's just like a way to, because it's really like when the other stuff we're producing is all just like a script and like a course and like these are the things. So it's like nice to have another avenue that's like, this is how we talk in real life. This is what we actually think. And for me, it's more like I love listening to other people who are kind of going through the same things I'm going through and being like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not crazy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's a way to connect with like the people we already want in our community, courses, network, brand. Yeah. And it's therapy for us. We get to chat for an hour.
Oh my gosh. We basically just do what we do all the time and then we just turn mics on.
We're like, we do this all the time and don't record it. So why don't we just record it?
Yeah. Why don't we just record it?
Yeah.
And we'll just put it into the ethers.
Put it on the interwebs.
Yeah. Okay. I think we kind of talked about these ones too, but another trap, assuming everyone's your customer and then trying to speak to everyone at the same time.
I can't think of one thing that everyone is a customer. Can you? Water.
I was going to say water.
That is a human necessity, I suppose.
Yeah, but even water, you're like, okay, well, I provide water to this area.
But also, there's a bajillion. Like, are we talking bottled water? Are we talking, like, what are we talking about?
I was thinking of, like, the utility company. Which I guess you don't really have a choice if you buy it or not.
The government.
Anyway,
well, at least in Canada, the government runs
Just
that.
start a government. You'll make so much money.
Yeah, there's no requirement to be efficient or profitable. I'm just kidding.
You do whatever you want. Just kidding. Okay. The next one is underestimating cost and time. So I think we talked about that a bit, but like it always takes longer and costs more than you think.
Yeah.
I think that's just
double
a rule.
It, add 20.
Double it. Give it to the next person. And then trap 5 is ignoring feedback. So I do think that is a big one where you're like, I have this idea. I'm so brilliant. It's going to be the best. And then when people give you feedback, I'm like, this isn't exactly what I would have wanted. You're almost like, what a dick.
Yeah.
Or like, how dare you? Instead of being like, oh, cool. Like, how could, like, I think
it's like a personal attack on you when it's not meant to be.
No, you need to separate yourself a little bit from whatever your thing is. Like, it's not you. It's like a thing you've created, even if it's a service that you're providing. It's like, okay, great. Their feedback can just help you make that service or product better. Yeah. Like, they are giving you gold. That's what I try to tell myself. I'm like, this person is giving me gold. They're literally giving me the cheat code to how I could sell more of this.
Yeah. 100%.
If I just listen. Now, obviously, if one person says one thing one time, like, don't change your entire business. But if there's like a consistent thing or a consistent request, take stock in that.
100%.
It'll just make your thing way better.
Yeah. Absolutely. What else you got on that little
I think
list?
that was all the ones I had. All my things from my list. Do you have any other ones?
Well, I wrote my list on my notes app, and my iPad is dead, and my phone is recording this episode. So I, unfortunately, am ill-prepared.
Do you want to look at it on your phone or your computer? See if you missed anything?
Sure. Let me just,
pause.
memento. Okay. I've got my laptop.
Perfect.
She's
prepared.
Yeah, I'm so prepared. As I have
She's
literally
come prepared.
microphones and
all
types of things,
happening?
wires and laptop. Okay.
Hopefully it stays plugged in.
Yeah, hopefully it stays plugged in. That's so true. New fear unlocked. Don't create problems that don't exist yet. I'm just kidding. Okay. I feel like we kind of talked about this a little bit, but maybe here's some more questions to ask yourself. Okay. Who is this product or service for, and are they out there Googling for it right now? So like, are the people you're trying to sell to actively searching for this, or
and
do
they have money to buy it?
Something that like they don't even realize that they want, and do they have money to buy? Yeah. Okay.
Because it's great to have a product that's amazing, but I think I heard of someone, he had this really great like resume writing thing. I can't remember what it was, Wow, I'm explaining this terribly. But basically, it was like a service to help people get ready to like get a job. But then he realized that every single person he's trying to sell to just lost their job. So they like don't want to spend money. So then, yeah, things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Something else to consider is, can you sell it before you build it? So like, is there an opportunity for like prepay, pre-order, or even like a DM, which we kind of talked about a little bit with the like email list or like website, landing page, whatever, but like building that brand awareness, product awareness prior to the launch. And obviously even better if you can collect money before, but
crowdfund.
Yeah, don't get people to prepay unless you're super sure you're going to do it. Otherwise, just know you have to refund everyone. Obviously, I feel like I didn't need to say that, but you never know. Like, I feel like I just need to put that out there. Okay, we kind of talked about this too, but does this idea actually fit you? So like your skills, your energy level, your lifestyle, your goals, your values. Because that will really help in like keeping you motivated and driven through those tough times through this business.
That's true.
Because like when you're working really hard at something that you kind of just did for the money and doesn't really align with you, some people can do it, or some people might get demotivated or discouraged or whatever. So just having something that like really fits you.
Yeah. Or you get to whatever that money number was, and then you're like, well,
yeah,
what's the point?
Yeah. Skill obviously does also play a piece in it, which I feel like is also duh. Like, you probably wouldn't start a business of providing a service that you've never done before. Maybe you have. I don't know. Anyways, think about it.
You can learn almost anything online.
You can.
Like, I wouldn't start a business on building a house because that'd be terrifying, but
yeah. Like, you can learn everything and anything.
But just know that it'll take some time.
Just know that it'll take some time, and you probably can't charge top dollar with no experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Does this business light you up enough to keep going even when it's not like that new shiny thing anymore? Again, I feel like that kind of aligns with the goals and skills and energy and lifestyle. Like, when things aren't as glamorous anymore, if it feels like it's really aligned with you, it's a lot easier to keep going and push through.
Yeah, and I think some people have this more than others, but like I think we've talked about this before, like I've had jobs where I've made tons of money and it was the worst times of my entire life. So like there's
the time I was making the most money, I was the most depressed.
Yeah, so it's not
just
all be
money.
that. It can be, you need a mix, but yeah, it can't be all or nothing.
You also probably can't be doing something that's like your ultimate passion, making $0 unless you just have zero expenses, and congratulations, good for you.
Yeah, that too.
Okay, would you still love this business idea if it didn't hit six figures in the first year? So like, if it doesn't go to plan, do you still love this business idea? Like, is it still worth pursuing, trying harder, tweaking, making better, pushing through, trying to hit your goals? Or is it like, I have to hit this in the first year, otherwise this business idea is stupid?
Well, like I feel like something like drop shipping.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that was just clearly to make money.
Yeah, obviously.
And then you're like, I don't really care about drop shipping or like this type of business model
at all.
Yeah. And I feel like I've had stuff like that too, where it's like,
yeah,
like day trading. I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
No.
Just give me some. You're just trying to make.
Yeah. You're like,
oh, this is all.
Now there's this other shiny thing that
Yeah.
could potentially make me money. And I feel like when you feel aligned and there's like a little, I'm not saying that there needs to be like purpose to everything. I feel like we talked about this in the last episode, tying your purpose to everything. But if your business feels very aligned to you, it's just like way easier to stick with it. I just said that like 14 times, 3 different ways. Okay. Okay. Well, I feel like everything else on this list we kind of talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like there are a lot of different lenses for you to kind of look at this business idea from.
Yeah. And I think, while I don't think you need to make like a crazy business plan, and actually probably don't, like, maybe spend like a couple of hours doing that.
Max.
Yeah. A few hours max. Just being like, who would buy this? What's the demand? What else is out there? Like those types of questions. A couple hours is probably good. Maybe one day.
That is a great piece of advice, though, because I don't think you should not do a business plan, or at least not. I'm not saying like a formal business plan, but like not look at all these things, not ask yourself these questions, but like don't spend days, weeks, months on it. A few hours.
Yeah.
That's it. Think about these things. Ask yourself these questions. Do a little business plan for yourself, for your own benefit.
Yeah. It'll also help you when you're trying to like
do
put
literally
all the pieces
everything
together.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, max few hours and then move on.
Yeah, because I think like in school or in these like example practice things, like you really get tied into like making this like perfect business plan, which makes sense because you're literally being graded on it. But in the real world, like you don't know enough to do all those things. And while it's nice, like it can just become a form of procrastination. So just try to be honest with yourself. If you're like, do I actually like truly need to understand this to make sure I'm making a good decision? And if I should take the next step, or am I kind of getting this like dopamine high by like thinking of a business, which I've done a lot. Like it's almost like you feel like you're getting something done by like thinking of ideas, but you're not really taking the next step. And learning while doing is so much more valuable and so much more helpful than learning just like in a box over
like
here.
A theoretical world. Because at the end of the day, your business plan is estimates and assumptions. It's not real.
It's a best guess.
It's literally just a best guess.
Yeah.
So like, are you gonna spend weeks and weeks and weeks on a best guess just to see if you should like pursue it further? Probably not. What a waste of time.
Yeah, you should probably just take the next step.
Unless, well, I'm not saying to spend weeks and weeks and weeks, but like the only time that you really want to put effort into a business plan is if you're applying for financing or a loan or anything. Yeah. Otherwise, like, you don't need to be doing all that.
It's true.
Yeah. Because like, you're just guessing. So like, how long are you going to be guessing for? You know?
And it'd be almost more worth it to like, in the time you spent to do that whole business plan, is like try something, be like, oh, that didn't really work. Try it a different way.
Market research, ask people, make a landing page.
Yeah.
Get people's, like, that's way more valuable.
And I think there is this like idea that like once someone starts a business, they know exactly what their business is or what they're doing or what, like, no, we like when you start a business, you're literally just like, I'm going to try this. Oh, some people bought that, but some people didn't like it. I'm going to try this. Oh, more people bought that. Okay. Like, it's all just iterations of keeping, you're like, you're still doing the same shit. It's not, I don't know. I feel like you have to be okay with being like, I said I was doing this and then I had to kind of go back on it. Not that you're lying, but you're like, you don't know. Like it's okay to be like, I thought in that moment that this is what I was doing. And since then I have altered my course. But I think people get really scared that you're going to like say that and then people are going to judge you because you're like
pivoting,
always changing your mind, or like you're always doing something different, or like, oh, like, yeah, that's what having a business is.
Yeah, because you can't just like make a perfect business plan for a perfect business and then just execute it perfectly and everything is just sunshine and rainbows.
Nobody cares.
No, that's so true.
No one cares if you change your mind 10 times. Just try. Just start.
Yeah.
I'd say just start. But also think about it. But also just start. But also
just start, but also think about it. But also don't plan, but also plan a little bit. But also
oh God, was this helpful? This is probably the opposite of helpful.
Well, I feel like there's like a billion different like side tangents we could go off of all of these things.
So true.
Yeah.
The very base level.
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm like,
what is it?
At the very base level, do a reasonable amount of research and due diligence, but don't use planning as a scapegoat for procrastinating starting.
Yeah, and give yourself enough time to actually have the possibility of being successful. Don't be like, if I don't see a result in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, be like, if I don't see anything in like 2 years.
Yeah. Like, and maybe even have like this is my minimum over the next 2 years for me to like seriously evaluate whether this business should continue or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can always get a job. Who cares?
Yeah. At the
You
end
can
of the
always get a
day,
job if you need to.
it's just life.
It's just life. Don't need to take it so seriously.
You only
Nobody
got
cares what
one.
you're
You may
doing.
as well try it all.
Yeah. Wait, we just said don't do that.
You may as well.
Just do what you want.
Okay.
No, that's bad advice too. Well, hopefully this was helpful.
Anyways, hopefully you can draw the conclusion from that episode.
You can draw your conclusion yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thanks
Okay.
for joining us. See you
Thanks.
next week. New episodes every Friday. And if you have a business and want to do your own books, stay tuned because something's coming for you.
Yeah.
Or you can cut that part out.
You were like, should we say that? And then you just said it so specifically.
Oh no.
No, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
We're committed.
We're committed. Bye.
Bye.